Good morning, everybody. We'll go ahead and call to order the License and Variance Board for Wednesday, November the 11th, 2015. The time is 10 a.m. My name is Roy Acree. I'm the fire chief. To my left is Scott Stokes, the Director of Public Works. To Scott's left is Mary Moore, the Director of the Library. Taking the official minutes in front of Mary this morning is Christiana Craddock. First item on the agenda, item 3A, is a public hearing for variance request V15-046 to allow the reduction of rear yard setback from 25 feet to 18 feet, 0.34 acre land lot 17-406, located at 4114 Kenway Court. Applicant Robert Robinson. Is Mr. Robinson present? If you could please step forward to the podium. And sir, the minutes are recorded, so we just ask that you speak into the microphone.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So if you could, for the record, state your name and your address and tell us a little bit about your variance request.
My name is Robert Robinson, address 4114 Kenway Court in Smyrna. Variance request is to build a screened-in porch on the rear of our house.
Okay, and you need this reduction in the setback.
That's correct.
Because we have access to all the documents, but so you need this rear setback reduction because a corner of the proposed porch would intrude into the current setback. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. We also see in the application that you've notified the residents around you that you've been required to, and that you've documented that you've notified them. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Any questions at this time for the applicant?
Does your HOA need to know about this?
We have their approval as well.
Okay. And I guess currently there's nothing. You don't have a porch or deck there. You're going to add a porch, deck, and all that?
That's correct. We have a deck on the other side of our house.
Okay, at this time I'll call Bob Thorne from Community Development. If you could please come and tell us about this application.
As the applicant stated, the application is for 4114 Kenway Court, reduction of a rear yard setback from 25 feet to 18 feet. Our analysis showed that the parcel is 0.34 acres in area and located at the end of the Kenway Court cul-de-sac. The parcel and all adjoining parcels are zoned R15 and occupied by single-family structures. The applicant is requesting a variance to reduce the rear yard setback from 25 feet to 18 feet to allow construction for an approximate 14 feet wide by 21 foot wide screened-in porch addition that will tie with an existing deck. According to the site plan that was provided in the application, the planned addition requires an approximate 6 foot setback reduction on its corner. Based on our analysis, any hardship is not self-created. The placement, orientation, and floor plan of the house on the subject property have existed since it was built. These characteristics limit the alternative locations of the planned addition. However, a strict application of the ordinance would not deny the applicant the ability to construct an addition with an irregular angled corner offset. However, this concept is not considered functionally nor architecturally desirable in keeping with this house or other structures in the area. Therefore, the variance proposed is the minimum variance needed. Adjacent property owners have been notified of the request. No expressed opposition has been received by community development. Considering all identified conditions, community development supports the request to reduce the rear yard setback from 25 feet to 18 feet to achieve an architecturally functional and desirable outcome consistent with this and other structures in the immediate area. After Consideration of all these findings, community development believes that the rear yard setback encroachment will not adversely affect surrounding residents. Therefore, staff recommends approval of the requesting variance with the following conditions. Approval of the request shall be conditioned upon the development of the property in substantial compliance with the site plan submitted with the variance application. Prior to final inspection, appropriate gutters and downspouts shall be installed and maintained to divert stormwater away from adjacent properties.
Okay. Any questions for staff? Thank you. Mr. Robinson, if you could come back up for just a second. You just heard staff give their recommendation report, and you also heard the two conditions that would go along with this. Are you aware of those two conditions?
I am now.
Okay. So basically, you have to build it the way that the plan says, that you have to build, and you also have to have appropriate downspouts and gutters to manage stormwater runoff to keep that from going into any adjacent other properties.
Understand. That's the plan.
Okay. So you're okay with both of those conditions?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you, sir. All right. If there are no other questions, this is a public hearing. If there's anybody here to speak either for or against variance request V15-046, I ask that you step forward now. Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve variance request V15-046 to allow the reduction of the rear setback from 25 feet to 18 feet for this particular project. 0.34 acres, land lot 17th District, 406, 4114 Kenway Court, with the two conditions. Condition 1, approval of the requested variance shall be conditioned upon the development of the property in substantial compliance with the site plan submitted with the variance application. And number 2, prior to final inspection, appropriate gutters and downspouts shall be installed and maintained to divert stormwater away from adjacent properties.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Without further discussion, I'll go ahead and call for a vote. Motion passes unanimously 3-0. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is 3B, 2015-393, appeal of the alcohol permit denial for Patricia Lynn Christopher. Is the applicant present? Ask that you step forward, please.
Step up. Marla, if you'll come up here too. Thank you, Chief. We will, since we're going to take some evidence as to the facts of this, let's swear both Ms. Christopher and Ms. Gerber, please. So, okay. If both of you will raise your right hand, do you solemnly swear the testimony you give in this matter should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right. If you'll sit down for just a second, we'll start with Marla here. Okay. Ms. Gerber, would you, just for purposes of the record, state your name, please?
Marla Gerber.
And where are you employed?
At the permits office at the police department.
And so, just to summarize the city's procedure, if somebody comes in to apply for either an alcohol server permit or the permit that's necessary if you work in a liquor store to sell liquor, that's required for everybody who does that here in the city to have a city-issued permit. What's the procedure for them doing that? They apply for it, and then tell me if I'm summarizing this accurately. They fill out an application where they disclose certain information, and they are required to give you permission to run their criminal history through what's known as GCIC. Is that correct?
Correct.
And so Ms. Christopher recently filled out an application, and she gave you permission to run her GCIC report, and what did it show?
It showed that back in 2011, there was 2 felonies in Cobb County pending conditional discharge. And let's see, was that the?
You can look through it if you need to refresh your recollection on it.
Then in February of 2014, there were additional charges, felony charges through Estelle Police Department. And those are under the First Offenders Act right now.
Okay, but in the application she filled out, and I'm pointing to this here, and it's in the package. It's in the package for the board. Did the GCIC report? Did it show anything that she had not voluntarily disclosed on here?
Yes, the 2014 charges.
Well, those are on here. They just don't have the date. Isn't
Those
that correct?
were put in by me. Entered by me.
Oh,
This is just hers, the 2011.
okay. So the only one that she disclosed on it was the 2011, and then
Right.
you wrote the rest of this.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad to have that clarified. Okay. So that's all that I have for Ms. Gerber. If the board wants to ask Marlon any questions.
So this document was filled out by you?
No, the first line up there is hers, and I added the other things that weren't on there because she was going to appeal it. So I wanted you guys to be able to see what was else.
So just for the sake of clarification, when you say the first line, you're talking about
Line
the
that
words
states-
under date July 2011, charge 2 felony, agency
Right.
Cobb, conditional discharge pending as disposition. That was the only thing filled out by the applicant?
Right, because if you could look to the left side of the column, I've got entered by me on the side for the other ones.
Okay.
But is that all part of the July 11th?
No, I'm sorry. I guess I didn't put a date. That was the February 2014.
Okay, so what council has mentioned about 2014 is on here. You
I wrote it,
put that on there.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else for Ms. Gerber from the board? Okay.
Okay.
So if you'll step up here now. So because I always ask everybody who's going through this process the same thing. Is there anything that either I've said so far or that Ms. Gerber has said that you want to correct for the board?
Well, actually, I'd like to correct. I'm sorry. Hello, good morning. I'm a little bit nervous, so I'll do my best. The information that I did not, the second part of my charges that was on the 14th, year 14, I did not know whether to write that or not because I am on first-time offenders, and I did not know if I had to put that down as a thing. I've never gone through this process before. I really didn't know what I was supposed to put down, except for the fact that I knew that I had the charges of the 2 felonies in 2011. So the new charges that I did receive in 2014 are under first-time offenders. So I've been told before, looking for a job, that those charges are kind of, as it was put to me, put in a little file or a black box, and that's put away until my probation is over. So those charges would never be existing after my probation. So if I did make a mistake on that, and if I thought about it when I was writing it out, then that was the reason why I did not include it.
Well, just clarify for the board then what happened on the 2014 charges. Those had their disposition, I think it's January of this year. Is that correct?
I think it's in February.
Well,
February.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, you mean what? Of what? I'm sorry, I don't understand your question.
Your sentencing date, as shown by GCIC on these charges, looks like January the 9th, 2015.
Okay.
And so
That's probably when I went to court.
Right, and so
For the charges.
Right,
Okay.
and I understand that there's the first offender offer. But this also shows some fines and various kinds of probation.
Correct.
A 3-month jail term. Did you serve
That
a 3-month jail term?
I did. That was for the when I received the second charges of I'm sorry.
right.
When I received the second charges, my additional charges, I was on probation. And I don't know if I'm supposed to explain now what.
Go ahead and explain to the board anything that you think would be relevant to them in evaluating whether you're going to get a permit here in the city of Smyrna.
Okay, thank you. I got in trouble in 2011. I'd never been in trouble in my life. I was 47 years old, and I was working with Alzheimer's people. Well, I was on a hall that was total assistance, that needed total assistance. And I hurt my back one day, and at the time I was also taking care of my mother. And she had given me 2 pills that I had left in my car. They'd probably been in there about a week, I want to say. And I got pulled over, and the cop asked me about them. I told him the truth.
What'd you get pulled over for?
I got pulled over for going over in Austell, where you get to almost to Austell City. I was on Veterans Memorial, right there where you have to slow down. I didn't know what I was going too fast. I was going about 45, and I got pulled over. And so he did see them, and I got 2 felonies for that. So let's fast forward to 2014. I've been under the care with a doctor. I no longer am with that doctor, but was given prescriptions that I probably had no business whatsoever being in a car. And because of that, I was on probation for my first offense. I went to jail, and they kept me in there for violating probation. So that's what my 2014 charges were. I had, I'm not mistaken, I haven't really looked. I think I have actually maybe 1 or 2 felonies on that and misdemeanors. But I am under the conditional discharge of first-time offenders. And would just really like the opportunity. I've changed a lot in my life, and I don't want this to define my life. I've changed a lot of things in my life for the good. I made some very bad choices. Sorry.
Well, just let me ask you. So you've explained what happened in 2011, and you talked about, and correct me if I'm wrong, but your testimony was that you were on some prescriptions and you shouldn't have been driving. So
Exactly.
Was that in reference to the 2014?
Yes, sir.
So what spawned the 2014 charges? Is it that you were in a vehicle and you shouldn't have been driving?
That's right. That's correct.
So that's correct. So you got pulled
Yes,
over
sir.
again for
Yes,
some
sir.
reason in 14.
Yes, sir.
And was it because you were under the influence of a prescription? Did you also in 2014 have prescriptions in the vehicle as well?
Yes, there was some in the vehicle. That's correct.
Can I just because I've gotten confused about what happened. So in 2014, you said you had prescriptions, and I mean, people are allowed to have scheduled narcotics that they have a licensed physician's prescription for.
That's correct.
But
You're right.
if you've had previous drug offenses, there are things that you're not allowed to have even if you have a prescription for them. Is that correct?
I don't know that to be correct.
I don't know that either. That's what I was wondering from this. So
I don't know that to be correct.
okay, so
But I think that we can kind of answer it. What were the actual charges for the 2014? Was it
Thank you. I'm
Thank you,
sorry.
was it possession of controlled substance?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. That is correct.
So the charges, and really the can you have them, can you have, really, the actual charge is possession of controlled substance.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so you were confined for 3 months for that.
Yeah,
You were found in violation of your probation. So what's your status right now?
My status is great.
Like, what's your legal status? Are you on probation right now?
I am. I will finish it next year. And that's really all I have to finish my probation out. I have a
And how long is your probation that you're on now?
It will be, I believe it ends in February of 2017. I believe that's correct.
And what are the conditions of your current probation? What are the things you have to do?
I have to call in every month. I have fines that I have to pay, and I actually have to take a DUI class, and I have to take a substance abuse evaluation.
Right, and you're also subject to drug testing.
Yes, that's correct.
In a way,
so
That's
you're-
correct.
in a
I'm
way,
sorry.
in a way that just the average citizen out on the street would not be subject to.
Right.
So
that is
you're subject
correct.
to a random drug screen, right?
That's correct.
So has that happened to you yet? Have they done a random drug screen on you?
I've had one.
You've had one?
I've had one.
And what happened with that?
Nothing. It was fine. It's going to be fine.
If you were, you'd probably be in jail again
Exactly.
if it came back.
Not a good place to be.
Can I ask one more thing, Chief? So where are you currently employed?
I was hired by. Thank you. Sorry.
Speak right in there.
Okay. Thank you. I was hired by the Smyrna World of Beverages.
And just to clarify, and that they have this, but I just want to make this clear. Your employer is aware of all of this history. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And wrote a letter for the consideration of the board supporting your application.
Yes,
to
sir.
get
That is correct.
Get a permit, right?
That is correct. And I also wrote a letter. I don't know if the council has that.
Have that, yes.
Thank you. I would just like the opportunity to show that the life that I live now is not the life I lived then. And I don't want the charges that I have to define my life. And I did make some bad decisions and choices, but that's in my past. And I have a beautiful daughter who's 25. She's graduating with 2 majors. You know, things had to change. I'm 51 years old. And, you know, I've never gotten in trouble until I was 47. So to do this late in life is not the way I was living my life. And I don't want to go back to that. I just like the opportunity to have this job. Of course, you know, it's hard for me to get a job. So for them to take the chance with me and see that, you know, I'm a good person and that I'm not, you know, a person that goes out there and gets in trouble and all that. It's not heavy lifting. It's not, you know, things of that nature. And I have to take that into consideration at my age at this time. So I just ask the city of Smyrna to please give me the opportunity and help me in this request, you know, so I can keep this job.
There's one other item on
Okay.
that form, whatever it's called,
Okay. I don't know if I have that one.
It's this right
Okay,
here.
thank you. All right.
where city staff had filled in the blanks for you.
Yes.
And one is number 4, tamper with evidence. What was that about?
Well, I don't really remember a lot of it, but I had someone in my car before I went down that road, and when I hit a side of a bridge, is what I did, and it busted my tires. And all I can tell you is on the way down that road, it's almost like I blanked out. I mean, like I literally just blanked out. And apparently I had some things in my console that I saw after I hit, and I don't remember a lot of it. And I was very afraid, I believe, and I tried to just get rid of them. And that's what they gave me the charge of, tampering with evidence, that I was scared. I mean, apparently I was scared. And once I hit that bridge, I, you know, realized kind of what happened. And I knew I got into a wreck. I was very thankful that it didn't require, you know, it wasn't anybody else that I hurt or myself. And the prescriptions, the pills that I had in that car, I wanted to get rid of them because I was scared. And that's why I got the tampering with evidence. So I'm sorry.
Let me borrow some.
All right.
Go ahead.
No, that's why it's on there.
When you how long have you worked at World of Beverage?
They just let me work for a month. That was it.
So you've been
That's about.
Okay, so you've been working there for a month? Or
I'm not working there currently because he gave me a month, and I've had to try, find out what process.
So when you applied there, did you disclose your criminal history when you applied?
Not at first, because I didn't know that I had to have a liquor license. I mean, I didn't know. I heard in the city of Marietta, that you don't have to have one to sell alcohol. So when I found out.
Well, that's not true. Yeah.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Okay.
If you sell alcohol, you have to have a permit to do so.
All right. Well, I did not know that,
Oh, it's
and
not,
I did disclose it to them
Okay.
about the week into it when I found out.
Have you ever held a server's permit before?
No.
Okay. Did you have anything else?
No.
What kind of activities did they have you do in that month that you were employed there?
I'm a cashier. I'm a cashier, and that's what I do. That's my only job.
Just to make it clear, if you receive your license to sell alcohol in the city of Smyrna, you realize, and I know that the owner there realizes, the city conducts undercover sting operations to make sure that minors are not being sold alcohol.
Yes.
If the city does that and the cashier sells the alcohol, the cashier goes to jail. You understand that, right?
That's correct.
Which in your case would itself undo all of the things and bring back all your charges full force.
Yes, I do understand that, and I check anybody that looks under 35, if not more. So we very diligently make sure that we don't try not to sell to minors. Never. I mean, I'd never want to do that. So I don't take anybody's face as to look like they're older. Like maybe one of y'all. I mean, you look like you're older, but I would probably definitely card you. So I try not to take that,
So basically, you're telling us we're old. So
that's going to hurt me.
I'm kidding with you.
It's your testimony that the chief is old.
Yes.
No, sir.
For the
Handsomely old.
record, that was a joke.
Okay, thank you. It was a joke on my part as well.
Well, and Ms. Christopher, I hope that you understand, and I feel like that you do, but the reason that we're going through this is because the city of Smyrna takes the responsible sale of alcohol very seriously,
Yes.
up to and including who actually gets to serve. And as council has stated, even the random compliance checks that are done undercover all the time to businesses, restaurants, anybody that serves alcohol.
Okay, I understand.
Okay, and I think that you in particular, as just stated, have even more of a stake in the game.
Yes, sir.
Because non-compliance with the sale of alcohol to a minor would, as stated, more than likely revoke any privileges that you currently have.
Right. I understand. And I want the city to understand that I am very dedicated to moving forward and having this job, understand what I have to do. And I will not let you down. I mean, I just need a chance.
Okay.
What other processes does the World of Beverage and or you have in place to keep the sale of alcoholic beverages to minors at bay?
Well,
Other than your statement that, if you're 35.
right. We have certain rules in the store itself. If a parent comes into the store with a minor, they're not allowed to even touch a bottle, carry a bottle, any of that. We know that's against the law as well. The other things that's part of my job is to browse things in our computer. That we have to make sure that we get license for, we get information, we check their year, that we're allowed to sell if it's just cases and we don't actually physically see it, on the counter. So we have in place those things. We just diligently, ask for ID all the time. I mean,
is it a requirement to put that date of birth in the computer at the point of sale?
Well, actually, it's on the computer what date and year that it's not legal. Like if you're underage, we actually have that on the screen. So we know every day that it is, that date changes, not the month, but the day and the year. So we are always aware of our sales in that area, of looking to make sure that people are of age to buy and consume alcohol or buy alcohol.
All right, thanks.
Any other questions for the applicant or for council? Okay, thank you.
I thank you all for your time and consideration. Thank you.
Okay. Council?
Nothing further from me, Chief.
Thank you. In the absence of any further discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
Based on the history, I want to make a motion to approve the issuance of an alcohol permit to Patricia Lynn Christopher.
Second.
We have a motion to approve and second. There's no further discussion. I'll call for the vote. Motion is approved unanimously, 3-0. Ms. Robinson, if you could come back up, please. Come back up for just a second. Yeah. I'm sorry. What did I say?
Not my name.
I was looking at the first.
That's quite all right. It's your age, right?
Yeah. I'm
That was
old,
just a joke.
and I don't have my glasses. Strike two, yeah. No, I just wanted to. I know that, and again, it's not our intent to. I know this is a difficult thing for you, and I appreciate it, and I can appreciate how difficult it would be to be there, and I just want for you to understand that we've just unanimously approved this permit. And like you've already said, you won't let us down. Please don't do that. And I can tell you that certainly everybody up here, I'm sure, hopes for your continued success. But don't take this lightly. Card anybody you think you need to card. It doesn't matter how old they look.
I will.
And don't take any chances.
I will.
Okay?
Thank you so very much.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Last item on the agenda is 4A, approval of the October 28, 2015 License Variance Board meeting minutes. Do I hear a motion?
Go ahead.
Make a motion to approve approval of the October 28, 2015 License and Variance Board meeting minutes. Item 2015-392.
Second.
We have a motion to approve the minutes for October 28th license variance and a second. Any further discussion? If not, a call for a vote. Motion passes unanimously. I'll declare this meeting adjourned at 10:34.
Thank you.
See, I wrote those in red, but the copy you got didn't.
You can't tell.
Couldn't see that. In the back. The owner or the alcoholic?
Oh, yeah.
Not, maybe. Maybe Eleanor and Joe.
So, yeah, that.
variance. That way it'll
Well, see,
separate out what,
I did that, and I
Yeah.
did it in red, but,
her copy's black.
yeah.
Yeah.
But if only, yeah, you didn't print it on color. So, that's why.
So maybe they can move this down, just put a box here and say for.
And the only reason I wrote it
Repeat
in is
notes.
because I don't send you. But, I guess. And see, it says, have you ever been?
Right.
Even though, because they tell them that. They say, until you're done.
I mean, if they're sitting there. The first offender,
Right.
yes, everything.
Yeah.
Though